Hi, everybody. Welcome to Katie in the Morning. I'm Katie Page, Director of Member Relations at the National Association of Healthcare Assistants. I hope you all had a phenomenal weekend. As you can see, I have my CNA Fest 2018 t-shirt on today, so you guys know what that means. We are covering another presentation from CNA Fest 2018. This one is very close to my heart. We had the honor of listening to a presenter this year who is actually a board of directors member. She is a treasurer. Her name is Corinne Ganchewitz. And Corinne had a very unique experience to share with us this year. She's been a CNA for 20 plus years. She works at the Missouri Veterans Home in St. James. She was an ACA ambassador, board of directors, treasurer, as I said, and just a phenomenal woman. A lot of us who are not her seniors, not seniors, I don't know how you would say that, refer to her as Mama Corinne. She is just a fabulous, fabulous woman. Strength that is unbelievable and passion for our profession that is matched by nobody else. So Corinne presented a very, very special presentation this year. In her experience within the last 2 years, I do believe, she came down with a diagnosis. Sorry, I got hair on my tongue. Leukemia. So she learned firsthand what it is like to go from caring for someone to being cared for by someone. Not just nurses, but CNAs as well. Sort of that, when I was talking to Corinne when she was here at the office, she said it was almost like an out-of-body experience at first. I completely understand the stages that she was going through, going in there and getting treatment. And there's a specific story that she shared with me. There's a pink cupcake story. She said never in her life would she ever imagine that she was somebody who somebody else would have to chart behaviors on. And that's something we really have to think about. And that's one of the points that Corinne brought up in her presentation is when you're charting behaviors on people that you're caring for, make sure that you're understanding their viewpoint before you chart those behaviors. In this instance, they wanted her to eat this cupcake, this pink cupcake, to help celebrate the victory of somebody's path to recovery. And in Corinne's mind at that time, she's thinking, what have you guys done? Like, why are you guys high-fiving each other? You're not the ones that are fighting here. We are. And I completely understand that theory as well. So she didn't want this cupcake. She just didn't want to eat it. She didn't want to eat the pink cupcake. So they went in and charted his behavior. So she had to go through this whole process of why are you feeling this way, that sort of thing. But not just that, but she brought up several points about the loss of the ability to do things physically. Having to depend on somebody else for your care, having to depend on somebody else for a bath. You know, there's just so much that we take for granted on a daily basis that if we were put into Corinne's shoes, I think we'd all have a little bit of an eye-opening experience there. Gary, let's pull up the next slide. So my next kind of thing here is it's not just a physical struggle. Corinne talked about this a lot during her presentation. It's a mental struggle. It's a physical struggle. It's a spiritual struggle. It's a struggle in your profession. You know, after going through something like that, I can't guarantee that I would go back to my profession and being as passionate as I was before. And that's where the strength of this woman comes in, is she just came back guns blazing. This woman was recruiting NACA members from her hospital bed. I am not kidding you guys. She's, laying there with tubes and wires in here telling them all about the CNA association that she belongs to, and she helps direct as a board of directors member. I thought that was absolutely phenomenal. And she, had these conversations with people about what being a CNA was. And that's where she kind of got caught is she said, she was kind of playing this role while she was in the hospital. And then people started taking care of her who had worked with her before. And she said kind of the gig was up. She knew what she was supposed to be doing, when she was supposed to be doing it, and how she was supposed to be cooperating with people. And now the people that were taking care of her knew this as well. So that was kind of, I thought that was a pretty funny point where she kind of said her gig was up. They knew who she was and what she did. So she had to kind of roll with the punches then. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about Corinne's presentation at CNA Fest.
Tune in to CNA TV every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Central Time for long-term care news with Dane Henning.
Welcome back to Katie in the Morning. Today we're talking about one of the presentations at CNA Fest that was very close to many, many people's heart, and that was Corinne Ganchinitz. Sorry, Corinne, she's probably going to call me and you pronounce my name? No, she won't. So we're talking about going from caring for other people to being cared for, kind of that transition to that stage and then back from that stage. And let me just tell you guys, during this presentation, my eyes were literally like pouring. I looked around the room. There was not hardly a dry eye in there. Corinne touched the hearts of many CNAs that were in that room that day, and she continues to do that on a daily basis by sharing her story, which is one of the things we're asking you guys to do. NACA is looking to publish a book about CNA stories, what we do in our profession, what kind of a person you are, and what kind of a person do you want caring for you someday? And when you think about it in that context, and with the experience that Corinne shared with us, there are so many changes that we could make on a daily basis, whether you are top-notch CNA, been in the for 40 plus years, or it's your first day on the floor. Just kind of think about that. Think about what it would be like to be in that other person's shoes, being cared for, rather than being the one that's giving the care. I thank you guys all for joining me today. Please send your stories in to us. You can send them to myself, Lisa, Lori, Jeff, or Dane. All the email addresses are the same except for the first part, which is our first initial of our first name and then our full last name. I thank you guys all for joining me today, and I will see you right back here tomorrow for Katie in the Morning.